insides work and how they digest food. Now we're going to learn about how cows look on the outside and about how they think. Temple Grandin is very well known for her work in animal welfare and handling, with over half of livestock facilities in the country using her designs to move animals safely from one place to another. In addition to this, Dr. Grandin is a well-known advocate for autistic people and was named one of Time magazine's top 100 most influential people in 2010. She is currently a professor of animal science at Colorado State University. Dr. Grandin is well known for the invention of the hug machine, a device based on the cattle squeeze chute. Both of these devices use pressure to relieve anxiety. This squeeze chute device is in use at most cattle facilities in the U.S., including here at Fresno State. She's also invented several different animal handling devices that have helped create a safer environment for animals in all facilities across the U.S. The squeeze chute functions by allowing animals to run up to this point in the chute and then closing around their neck and shoulders. This allows them to feel comforted while not too constrained. Then their flight zone is not engaged and humans can come up to them, give medication, examinations, or anything else they may need. Cattle are normally fearful of people entering what we call the flight zone. This is an imaginary bubble around an animal's body that defines how close a human can get before they are too close for comfort, and the animal turns and runs away. Depending on the animal's level of comfort with humans, the flight zone can be large or small. The flight zone is increased in size when animals are scared or stressed, making it more difficult to interact with them. The chute systems developed by Dr. Grandin are designed to help animals feel safer around their handlers so that they can receive any care they may need. One of the main ways we help animals feel more comfortable in stressful situations is by curving the walls of passageways that they may need to move down. This helps cattle in particular to feel as though they are headed back home to their pens. This also prevents the cattle from seeing anything up ahead that may scare them, such as people or machinery. These curved chutes have to be built in a specific way, specifically with 3 total bends. These bends must not dead end into each other, making the cattle feel like they have nowhere to go. Now it's time to take out your worksheets and draw a system similar to these, and make sure it includes at least 3 total turns. This will allow the cow to get to the barn quickly and safely. And make sure you don't dead end it like this one. Now that we've learned a little bit about how cows think, we are going to talk about how they look on the outside and what we call their body parts. Cattle have different names for their body parts than we do. For example, what we may call a knee is called a hock in cattle. We're going to learn many more body parts this week, so take out your worksheets. It's time to learn about cow anatomy. On the bottom half of your worksheet, in the section entitled Cow Anatomy, we are going to learn and label 9 different parts of a cow. We'll also talk a little bit about how these might relate to human body parts or why they're unique to cows. First, we have the hock. We already talked about this one a little bit, but this is just like our knee. It's the joint in the leg that bends back so that the cow can walk around. Sometimes we call this joint the knee when referring to a cow's front legs, but it's almost always called the hock when speaking about the joint on the back leg. Next, we have the udder. This is what cows are famous for, right? Well, the cows we've looked at this week are a little different than the black and white cows with big pink udders that you see on TV. While those are dairy cows and they specifically are used to make milk, we've been looking at beef cattle. These are used for meat and other byproducts such as leather, gelatin, and other things. Beef cattle still have udders that produce milk, but they are smaller and usually only used when mama cows are raising their babies. So let's talk about the switch. You might be wondering, do we turn cows on and off? Are cows robots too? No, this is just the end of the tail where the hair is long. Cattle use this to swat flies off of them. There's no electricity involved. Next, we have the tail head. This is the part of the back where the tail connects. Depending on the animal and how old they are, the tail head can look very different, as cattle tend to put on fat as they get older on either side of the tail head. Now we have the dew claw. The dew claw is the part of the foot that scientists think used to be other toes, but is now just little nubs at the back of the animal's feet. Lots of animals have dew claws, and they look a little different on each animal. If you have a family pet, they probably have dew claws, as cats and dogs both have them. In cattle, it's very important that the dew claws do not touch the ground, as it is a good indicator that the animal's bone structure is poor and that the dew claws could become painful or even infected. Next, we have the brisket. The brisket is the part of the cow that's in between the front legs. As cattle reach market weight, they begin to layer on fat in this area, and it is a good indication of how much fat they have in other areas, such as the loin. This is the next area that we'll be looking at, and it's the name for a cow's back from shoulders to tail head. Again, as cattle fatten, this area will fill in with fat, ideally making them more level looking. Next, we have the navel. This is what we call a cow's belly button. You have a navel too, but most people just call it a belly button. Cows' belly buttons usually don't go inwards like ours. Does your belly button go in or out? Last but not least, we have the horns. It is common for horns to be removed in modern-day livestock practice, both for the safety of the animals and the humans. But several breeds are actually born naturally without them. Purebred Angus cattle, for instance, are born without horns. This is called polled. While longhorn cattle, you guessed it, have long horns. Who'd have thought? Thanks for joining us this week for Ag in a Bag to learn about cattle. Don't forget to come back on Friday for our live activity.